What's up, guys? Top 5 mistakes people make while they're carb cycling. So there are many different mistakes people make. I'm going to give you the rundown of the top 5 that most people make when they're carb cycling and why they don't see results while they're carb cycling. Because a lot of people have posted, I've tried it, it doesn't work, but you're probably not doing it right. You're probably skipping steps, you're probably kind of doing it, you're following a bit of this type of carb cycling, but you're doing something else on the other end of the spectrum. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they do not deplete enough. They do not deplete their body properly. They do not deplete their glycogen stores. You need to understand that you need to earn the carbs. You need to earn the refeed or the high carb day, right? You can't just do half-ass workouts, put fuck all sessions in, your training sessions are half-ass 30%, 40%, and then expect that the high carb day is going to do anything for you. You really need to grind it out and deplete your body while you're carb cycling on those low carb days to the point where you feel it. Your recovery is crap. You just feel your muscles are flat. You feel that you're not getting good pumps in the gym. So when you have that high carb day, it fills you right out for the next few days. So, like I said in the previous video, try, a high carb day every 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th day. See which one works for you, whether it's 4 days, 6 days, 5 days, whatever it may be. But it also depends. How many sessions are you doing a week? How many sessions are you doing per day? How long are these sessions? What type of sessions? So you need to play around with it a bit to make sure that you're depleting enough and that you're earning those high carb days. It's not just for the sake of having a high carb day. The way I deplete, sometimes I'm really, when my metabolism's firing, I need a high carb day every 3rd or 4th day. When my sessions are half-ass and I'm being a lazy bitch, I probably could get away with doing it every 12th day. That's just the way it is. So you need to earn that. When you're really grinding it out every 4th day, every 5th day, when you're not grinding it out and you're half-assing it, every 4 weeks maybe. That's how often you're going to need carbs, or a high carb day. I think another big mistake people make is that they carb load too soon, They don't really grind it out. Most people don't understand what it is to really push themselves and grind it out and really, just those last few days, when they're in so much pain and, they're flat and they're depleted and they feel like shit. Most people give in to that, and they have a high carb day. Like I said before, earn it. Although you feel like crap, it's part of the process. Understand that nothing is easy if it's worth earning. If something is going to yield specific results, it's going to come with a price. It's going to come with work. So understand that's part of the process to feel like crap. Don't refeed too soon just because you feel like it. You need to distinguish the difference between want and need, and that's what most people can't do. In fact, when I'm refeeding, I actually refeed on a lot of foods that I don't necessarily enjoy, high carb foods that are not my personal favorite, because I want to make sure that when I'm refeeding or when I'm doing my high carb day, I'm doing it because I need it and not because I'm craving certain foods. So that's another variable to consider. The third thing is binging is a no. A lot of people mistaken a refeed or a high carb day to just go out and binge and eat as much as they possibly can and stuff themselves. That is wrong. And I don't condone that because I do not condone eating disorders. So I think controlled refeeds, maybe try 500 grams of carbs, try 600, try 700, see what works for you. I've gone, where I deplete on 50 to 80 grams of carbs a day, and then my high carb days are about 800 and I feel really good. Try it out, what works for you. Just play with it a bit, guys. It may take a few weeks to really nail it down and see what works for you, and you'll know, if you had 300 grams of carbs and the next day you feel like crap again, you should be good for a day or two after, to the point where your workouts are amazing, your strength is back, you're really pushing yourself in the gym, your muscles look full. And if you don't feel that way, maybe you didn't have enough carbs. If you're bloated and you feel like crap that you can't work out, maybe you had too many carbs. Another thing on a biggest mistake people make on the refeed or the high carb day when they're carb cycling is they consume too many fats. The benefit of high carb days come from actually consuming the carbs, okay? That's what's going to get your metabolism going. That's what you're trying to replenish. Glycogen stores, stored sugars. That's what you're trying to deplete, and that's what you're trying to replenish. So muscle glycogen. So I think most people, they eat a lot of foods and they have, just a shitload of fats in there. What you need to understand when you're doing these high carb days it's okay to have trace amounts of fats from the carbs. When you have sweet potato, when you have things like that, there are fats in these foods. That's fine. So if you do go over your fats a bit, that's acceptable, but do not overkill on the fats, because what you're really trying to do is yield the results of the carbohydrates, not the fats, okay? Lastly, I think one reason why I think I don't get every one of my clients to do it, and I don't think it works for everybody, is I think people feel guilty when they do these high carb days. You know, they feel like crap. They feel you're going to retain water. That's a given, because for every gram of carbohydrate you store, you retain 2.7 grams of water. So you're going to store water within the muscle, but also subcutaneously, so under the skin. So it's normal that you are going to feel a bit bloated. You're going to feel a bit, you know, watery. You're not going to feel as tight, but do not feel guilty about it. If you're a person that, you know, jumps on the scale every fucking 10 minutes, which I don't know why people do this, then maybe carb cycling is not for you, because your weight's going to go up, bottom line. But does it mean your body fat went up? Absolutely not. Your weight went up. There's a difference between weight and body fat, you know? And I think that's a big problem with people with the scale, is they fixate so much on the scale, you know, and when they lose weight on the scale, they take it, you know, as a celebration. They're like, yeah, I lost weight, I lost fat. But when they gain weight, they're like, oh shit, I feel like crap. Or you know, or you have the other person on the other end of the spectrum that's like, oh, it's just water weight. Well, so when you lose weight, it's fat, but when you gain weight, it's water weight. So, you know, you can't be hypocritical there. It's one or the other, you know? So I don't even like using the scale at all for any one of my clients. Maybe once a week at max, but people that weigh themselves every single day, every morning, every night, that's an obsession. I think you guys need to get rid of it. If you're one of these kind of people, maybe carb cycling is not the best option for you. As always, guys, comment below, tell me what you want to see, share the video, like the video, all that. Team Amer, peace.